Hi, I'm Raina the Mermaid, and I'm from East Coast, Canada. I have been a professional mermaid for 16 years, and the whole time I've been a mermaid, I have been sharing my journey on YouTube. You can actually go back to my oldest videos and see some of my embarrassing, cringy moments because I knew that it was really hard back in the day to find information about this hobby, about this profession. So I shared everything I possibly could. I even went on to publish 3 books. I made workshops. I started touring around and teaching other people how to do this. I have such a love for mermaiding that I really want to share it with everybody. So if you have any questions about it, whether it's from the business side of things, the recreational side of things, swimming, if you have specific issues that you find make this difficult for you. I live in Canada where it snows half of the year. Believe me, I have been through the ringer. Please leave me comments and let me know because I would love to make videos that help you. I appreciate if you like and subscribe. If you don't want to miss a video, you can press the bell to get notified. In my description field on my videos, you will find all of the links to my social media, and you will also find discount codes and links where I get a little kickback if I'm lucky, and you can get a discount on something related to mermaids. Appreciate you. Today, I am sharing what it's like juggling being a mom and doing a very specific event. So World Oceans Day is June 8th every year. It's been going for, I think, 2 decades, if not more, and it's very similar to Earth Day. It is celebrated all around the world, and I have personally been doing mermaid work as an ambassador for World Oceans Day since 2011. Now in 2011, this event started with me being a young mermaid. I'd only been doing it for a few years at this point. I'm coming up on, I'm at 16 years of doing this. I'm coming up on 17 years of doing this. That's wild. So this was pretty early on in my career. I would take my giant Marbella's mermaid tail in a garbage bag on the bus and my handmade signs, and I would go to a specific Maritime Museum where we have all this great boat history. And you may not know this, but the Titanic sunk close to where I live. So there's all this Titanic stuff, and our city was really involved in making that movie, and so was this particular museum. So I would go to this museum and I would use the background that I was gaining in doing a degree in child and youth development and then eventually a degree in education. And I would use these skills to put on little workshops for kids who would come to celebrate World Oceans Day. Now it was a Friday. It's always on a Friday, and it would be a weekday, which meant I would get daycare groups and I would get school groups. Even though World Oceans Day, the June 8th date would change, this event would always be held on the Friday closest to it. Now, as this event has grown in popularity around the world and in my country, in Canada, it started to evolve into an entire week of ocean education and activism, where loads of local groups would get involved with this, and you would see like the scuba school would put on something, the animal rescue group would put on something, the shark diving guys would put on something, and eventually my friend Alana started facilitating getting all of these people into one place. So I would do this one event at the museum ever since 2011, and then we would have all these other exhibitors and groups come and display out in public somewhere so that the general public could come in and see some of the things that they wouldn't normally see. So the kind of stuff that would be set up at World Oceans Day at the museum, I would be there for kids. Sometimes there would be a musician, there would be authors of relevant books related to World Oceans Day. I worked with a great children's author who wrote a book about smelly pirates, which was really fun, and they're cleaning up litter with a mermaid. There is the Back to the Sea Society, who do a traveling touch tank, and I've worked with them on a number of occasions. Hope for Wildlife, which also have a TV show that some of you may see. They're an animal rescue group. Mars, which is a marine animal rescue society. They actually go out and help whales and dolphins and seals that that are in distress. So you'd see groups like that. You would see the local universities that teach marine biology and ocean sciences. So they would be there and have their students there doing things. There would be the local Institute of Oceanography. They would send things, and you could see all kinds of cool stuff. So sometimes there would be like deep sea ocean animals that you could literally go, and these would be specimens that you could touch and things. But a lot of this stuff was geared towards adults, or the content was really interesting, but the facilitators for each group maybe weren't gearing things towards children. So my goal was to come into this event and sort of bridge the gap and do things for kids. But like I said, I started out doing this event in 2011. I wasn't like a very well-known mermaid yet. It was really difficult to get some of the materials that have become totally normal for our field now. There was no such thing as tail bags. I was putting my tail in a garbage bag. And I would literally just go in costume and teach kids. I would make up different circle time activities about plastic pollution, about how people are afraid of sharks, about the food chain, starting with microplastics and plankton and things like this. And I would use my education to make them age appropriate and do this for the kids. It's always been a big hit. We get loads and loads of people. Now, ever since the pandemic, it has been a bit more of a challenge for me to do this event, and I just did this event last week. It's like a week long of doing all kinds of crazy fun things. And in the past, I've actually met really amazing people. If you look on some of my older videos, I met Dr. Sylvia Earle, who is from National Geographic and the first female marine biologist. And she was just, that was a dream come true. I got to meet her through one of these conferences. So for this year, similar to previous years, if you've watched any of my mermaid momming videos, I didn't have childcare for my son, and this year he's 3. So I've done it when he was 8 months old, and he came with us, and that was sort of COVID, and I'm wearing a mask that matches my tail and everything, and I'm doing workshops. Then we did another year where he was actually 18 months old, or almost close to that. We didn't have childcare, and he came and just ran around with his dad, sang songs with me because I was playing on a ukulele, having fun. And then we took a year off because we did have childcare. He got to go to childcare for the day, and I was able to focus on what I was doing. So this year I thought that I would have childcare, but it turns out I didn't, and that's okay. We have a phenomenal daycare for our son. It's a home daycare. I absolutely love his teacher. She is amazing, and she was actually busy volunteering for an event that day, so she closed the daycare so she could do that. So this is it. This is our life. My son comes with us. I've got me and my husband and our son, and it's so crazy because you're trying to pack all the gear that you're going to need to do the event. You're trying to anticipate things, and the organizer for the event is like, oh my gosh, tourism is up. So we have all these tour buses coming in. We have all these ships coming in, cruise ships are coming in, and we've got like 7 daycares and like 6 school groups, and it's just going to be non-stop. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? And this is volunteer. Everybody who is doing this is volunteering. The museum is not paying anyone to do it. World Oceans Day in general is an event that people volunteer for. So you will hear different opinions in the mermaid industry about whether or not it's worth it to volunteer. For me, my rule of thumb is it's some sort of charity that I believe in, and everybody else is volunteering. So I volunteer for just a handful of things in a year because it's all I can afford. I'm still paying out of pocket in order to insure myself, to have the materials, to go to the places, to do the events. So I can't volunteer for everything. I also don't want to undermine the industry by volunteering for things that people should be paying for and taking work away from somebody who should be getting money, right? So World Oceans Day, that's one of my good ones. Everybody volunteers. The other thing we volunteer for is the Hope for Wildlife Rescue Group. Everybody involved with Hope volunteers for that or donates money, whatever. So we do that as well. So it's sort of like you have to use your discretion. People will try to guilt trip you though to get you to do things for free. So you can't always do that though. It costs money to do what we're doing, right? I just wanted to give that little disclaimer because it can be a hot topic in the mermaid industry, and I don't want people watching my video thinking like, oh, Raina thinks we should work for free and undercut people. I'm not saying that at all. World Oceans Day has always been, it's always been a freebie, and I really believe in it. Now, on the flip side, I do have a day job now, which I didn't always have, and they give me paid volunteer hours. So that is something that makes it easier for me to do this event. I have these paid volunteer hours. I'm still getting paid a regular work day. It's not like I'm taking vacation day or taking an unpaid day so I can do this. So I'm trying to do this gig. I've got all this stuff. I'm trying to get there, but now I've got this extra element of my 3-year-old son. I have to anticipate, what is he going to need while I'm at this gig? What do I need for all my materials while I'm at this gig? I need to make sure the car has everything packed. I need to make sure we're up early enough. I have to do my hair and makeup when I wake up, but also we need to get him dressed and ready. And my son is potty training, so I have to make sure he has a change of clothes in case he has an accident. I've got to make sure he's got sunscreen. I've packed a little cooler bag of snacks and drinks for him because I don't know when we're going to be able to get out to eat. So I did all that, and my husband was a champ. We loaded up the car, we go downtown, there's no parking. He drops my son and I off, and we go to get ready. So when I do these kinds of events, I have learned the hard way that I don't want to have to be sneaking around and not let the kids see me. So my trick is to wear leggings and a top that match my tail. And I tell the kids, hey, I'm a half mermaid. You might see me with my legs out in public, but my legs are really special. They have mermaid scales on them. You'll be able to tell that I'm a mermaid. But you know what? I'm also kind of clumsy with my legs, so please don't laugh. I'm better at swimming. And the kids think that's really funny. So I wear the leggings in this way. If I need to get up and go to the bathroom, or I need to have a lunch break, or I'm out walking around, the kids aren't totally put off if they see me. In fact, they usually get excited. They want to touch my legs, things like that. This just is a little bit of groundwork that I do that I totally suggest other merfolk do, because it is really hard to keep the magic. And I live in a city that would be considered small by like American standards, probably, not quite a million people in the whole province, I don't think. I'm not sure. I think maybe there's 500,000 in my city and maybe 1 million including the rural areas in the province. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, it's everybody knows me. So the kids do see me out in public. So I just find this is like a really good helper for me to prevent issues down the road. We go to do the gig, and I've got my son set up, and thank goodness they had like a play area set up for the kids. There's a boat that they can get in. There's all these blocks that are like plushy that he can play with. He's also really interested in some of the exhibits, so his dad is walking him around. I get to my setup. I've got this big mat down so that the kids can all sit on it. I've got a table behind me with all my teaching materials that I'm going to be using. I've got a chair to sit on, and now my tail, instead of using the heavy monofin in it, I have a piece of foam cut in the shape of the mermaid tail that I put in it, and that allows me to have a little less pressure on my feet and legs during dry gigs, since I'm not going to be swimming. So I have that on, and I'm sitting there flapping it, and the school groups start coming in, and it is chaos. There's so many of them. I'm doing little workshops. I'm singing songs. I've got a puppet that I'm doing, and the whole time my son is coming and going, and he's starting to get a little jealous that all these kids are having his mom's attention and he's not getting it. So then he starts to do something really funny. He starts pushing the chair closer to me, and he climbs up on the chair. And while I am mid-talking to the kids, he goes, "Okay, kids, okay, boys and girls, what's this?" And he holds up a starfish, and he goes, "This is a starfish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 legs on a starfish." And mind you, he's 3 years old, and he's calling these kids who are his age or older kids and boys and girls. And he is just beaming at being able to teach them. So then I just started roping him into it. I'm getting his help. I'm getting him to blow bubbles. I'm getting him to hold things. I'm interacting with him with the little puppet while we're talking to the kids. It was really funny and really cute. Throughout the day, his dad is taking him for breaks out on a playground that is outside so he can play with that, and he's burning off energy. They go for lunch at one point, and then the day wraps up. We go out into public, and we are walking around, and of course people see me, but I've got the mertailor leggings on that match my tail, so that was like bonus points. That helped me. We have these steps that lead down into our harbor, and every year it's traditional that I get photos in it. I really wanted photos with it because it's such an iconic spot. However, Our harbor is notoriously dirty. So for like the entire existence of our city, raw sewage was pumped into the harbor. And it's only like maybe 20-ish years ago that we put in place a sewage treatment plant. It would constantly break. Anytime it rained, it would overflow. And there are historical properties that are not on this plant and are still pumping sewage. So that all improved a lot. And for the most part, the water quality has been pretty good. There was even a campaign where they were trying to get people to swim in it. So they were doing regular testing of it. I don't trust it because of all the issues I know of how often it can break. And none of that stops the pollution runoff, the litter, any of that stuff. I still like to get my photo next to it, and I feel much more confident about getting the photo when I know that the plant has been running and everything's clean and there hasn't been rain, and you can literally look at the water and you can see and smell the difference. Unfortunately, it has been closed to the public for being in it for quite some time because the plant is having parts of it replaced, so the water's not getting filtered. It's all gross stuff going in, so they've been warning people. And that may have ended close to the event or just after the event, somewhere around there, but it wasn't enough time for me to be like, oh yeah, this is clean water. So I just, I sit next to it. I don't go in it. I never go in it. I'm never going to swim. Sometimes if I feel like it's safe, I will put the tail only, not my body, in the water for the tourists and get some pictures. Now tourists, because there's no signs or anything, they just go and walk in. And there was some like famous UFC guy who was here staying at the hotel, and he like ran in and did a cold plunge in it, and all the locals are like, whoa. So I'm there trying to get photos, and of course the water's perfectly calm and I'm fine, and some jet skiing guy goes by, and all of a sudden before I can move, there's a splash. So there's one splash and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, all right, well I'm okay, that didn't get me. I need to maybe scooch up. I don't even have a chance to do that. The second splash, it gets me, and it's so gross. Now, the people watching think it's great. Husband takes a video of it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think it's so funny watching it in slow motion. None of it got on my face or anything like that. It just got on the tail. It was more like a jump scare for me, like a mermaid jump scare, like, oh no, the poopy water, So I put it on social media as a joke for all the locals. Like I had captions and everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna get it, and I'm not in the water, I put it on TikTok and it gets tons of views, and it's all people who aren't reading the captions or don't know who I am. And they're like, ew, that's disgusting. You must be from away. Like nobody swims in that. I'm like, I know. Like I said that in the video. Ew, yeah, I know. It says it in the video and in the caption. I know. So thank you, TikTok. People who don't read, I know it's disgusting water. That was not my intention. And the second it happened, I was done. Detail, don't want to be wet anymore. This is gross. Go home. Had a shower. First thing I could do. So that was that. Fun time. The next day is another day of World Oceans Day events, and it's actually World Oceans Day. I'm meeting up with Alana, who I did the Eastlink TV show stuff with. She is the person who certified me in my Patty Mermaid certification. She also just got her certification in order to certify instructors. So I get to take an instructor course with her so I can finally become an official mermaid instructor, because I have run mermaid schools a decade ago, but nothing was standardized. I worked with the Life Saving Society to try to come up with a curriculum. Now there is something standardized, and I have been desperately wanting to get this certification, but it's been very difficult in Canada. There's not many people who can do it in Canada. So Elena's going to do that, and she's running this whole event. Last year, the event was phenomenal. All these exhibitors, all this stuff. This year, it's like a tornado out there. And we have this saying where I live, it's January, because it gets cold all of a sudden in June. You get like all this fake, nice, hot summer weather, and then it gets freezing, it's windy, and it's like January all over again. So we call it January. So January was in full force while we were down on the waterfront. The wind is so bad that it's blowing away our little cart that we're using to carry everything. And also, I'm doing the foam trick with my mermaid tail again, and my mermaid tail is blowing away while I'm trying to wear it. it's like hard to talk to people because the wind is in your face so badly. It's blowing the wig everywhere. The other exhibitors are having their table stuff blow everywhere, but I'm still there. People have still come to see me, so I'm trying to make it work. So I'm all set up in my mermaid tail, and Alana had brought kids' mermaid tails. So one by one, kids are putting on the tails. They're having the time of their life. They don't care about the wind. They're sitting with me. They're getting pictures. There's a giant lobster getting pictures. There's a pink shark getting pictures. I see the staff from the museum. They come over and see me. There's a donut shop and they've made fancy donuts and everything. There's a face painter who I happen to know from when I was a teenager, and she does my son's face paint. And my son starts out okay, but he's uncomfortable with the wind. And at this point, he's been going for like 3 days full of mermaid stuff, and his patience is wearing a bit thin. He wants his mummy to himself. He's tired. He doesn't want to be dragged to these things, but we don't have anybody to watch him, so he has to come with us. We have to do this. So he's sitting on one side, and I've got these other kids, and we're getting pictures, and he's just losing his patience. So he's kind of like pawing at me and hanging off me. And then he starts with this. So anybody who's had a toddler, they usually find out that poop is a funny word, and then they never let that go for the rest of their lives. So he has discovered that poop is a funny thing to say. And he starts saying poop and poopy. And I'm trying to talk to guests. I'm trying to get pictures. I'm running into people I know. And I'm trying to stay in character. And he's sitting next to me going, poopy mommy, poopy daddy, poopy mermaid, poopy poopy. And he's quiet at first. So I'm like, okay, buddy, like we're going to finish soon. Like just let mommy do this. I just need to get some more pictures. Like the other kids want pictures too. He's not having it. He's getting louder. Poopy mommy, poopy daddy. This is poopy. This is poopy. So I'm like trying to parent him while I'm actually doing the event. And my husband is trying to redirect him and take him around to do stuff. But every time he picks him up to take him away from me, it's mommy, 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 mommy. And he's making a scene and everybody's looking. And this is just very typical 3-year-old stuff. You know, a lot of people who don't have kids will look at that stuff and be like, oh, that's an entitled little spoiled brat. No, it's a 3-year-old who's cortex is not fully developed and doesn't have self-regulation skills, and the only way they can learn it is to be in situations that provide them with the opportunity to learn. Remember, I got that degree in child development. So you have to use different techniques with them, and then sometimes you also just have to recognize when your kid is past their limit. So he was past his limit. We finish up the event, we take him, he goes and gets a little bit of face painting, and then the local sci-fi convention is holding an event. We swing in there, we get a couple of photos together and pick up a few things, and then we're back in the car, and he is out cold in the back seat with the rainbow face paint on. So we survived, you know, and then we get home and everybody just kind of needs to, after doing all these gigs all weekend long, and it takes me a couple days to put everything away again. And, you know, I'm working on social media, I'm making this video, I'm making my shorts, I'm trying to schedule things, I'm sending photos to all the event organizers, and then I've got new event requests coming in. So I closed Halifax Mermaids, but I am subcontracting under a circus group called Serpentine Studios, and they subcontract me as a mermaid for certain events. So just things that I can easily do with my son present, or I know that I can have childcare for it, so I can do it. I just take and do what I want. It's so much easier for me than running the huge corporation, Incorporate Canadian Mermaids Inc., and having like 10 people I have to be responsible for. This is so great. So I have some gigs though, so I am having to like email back and forth with her and figure those things out and give her quotes that she can go back to the clients. And then I have to turn around and go back to my day job on Monday and just do that. So, you know, juggling motherhood, no matter what you do, is a lot. But when you have a small business and that's your main focus, or if you're like me and you're working full time, you're juggling YouTube, which can be a full-time thing on its own. You're juggling a side hustle. So it used to be a side business and now it's a side hustle for me. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And in order to make time for different things work, you always have to take time from something else. I'm really lucky if I have 2 hours after he's in bed every night. And that's the only window I have every day to do whatever it is I need to do. Because I'm at work and then I come home and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and we're doing errands and we're doing his routine, and then it's bedtime routine, and then it takes him a while to go to sleep. So then I've got like 2 hours before I'm going to go to bed. I got to exercise. You know, if I want to do any emails, if I want to do any video editing, that's what I'm doing. In fact, I'm filming this on a Friday and I've changed my work schedule so that I can have half Fridays in the summer so that I can have this block of like 4 hours to just do whatever I need to do, just whatever I want to do. If it's working on YouTube videos, going out filming stuff, doing photo shoots, like this is the reality of being a working mom. And I feel like when you see influencers online, and I don't like calling myself an influencer, but I do recognize that I have influence in the mermaid world. So when you see influencers and creators online, they're making it look so easy, but there is so much work that goes on behind everything so that you are getting that polished thing. Nothing is as easy as it looks. Nothing. This video alone, hours and hours and hours of work, and it's not even going to be my best work. I know that because I'm trying to beg, borrow, and steal time to edit it and film it and make it look nice. But hey, it's here. That was my Wild Oceans Week weekend. I've got my friend Vicky. He's this great guy who's been doing some of my thumbnails for me, not all of them, but some of them. That helps a lot. I also have a side channel I've been working on if you're interested in. It's called Instant Movie Reviews with Raina and Drew. It's me and my best friend. It's a very small channel. We are just doing movie reviews right out of the movie theater. We sit in the car. We record what we think is going to happen before we go in, and then we record our reactions as soon as we come out. We got on the radar of a local distribution company that distributes films in Canada, and they have been giving us free tickets. So even though we have this tiny channel, all of a sudden we get to go to free movies, and I'm loving it. So you can also check out that side project. I've got some more gigs coming up. I'm working on some health stuff. I have ADHD, and I've been taking ADHD medication, and that's really helping. I don't know if people are interested in that kind of thing. I know my friend Mermaid Courtney has spoken about her experiences with ADHD and autism on her channel. I don't know if my viewers want to hear about that. My health stuff and my mental health and whatever, let me know. I can share that with you. But I think it all comes down to how are we balancing this with our niche? And my niche is mermaids. So how am I balancing all this stuff with being a mom, taking care of myself, trying to get the videos out there? And it is obviously so much love and passion for all of you. And that's why I'm doing it. So all of that being said, I hope you enjoyed my crazy story about momming and mermaiding. I really appreciate your feedback. Please leave me comments. Obviously, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. The best thing that you can do for me, honestly, is watch my video all the way through because it helps me earn a little ad revenue. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And just share it with your friends. And a little tip for you, if the pace of the video is too slow for you, a hack that I learned from my husband is I actually go down to the little cog wheel on the YouTube video and you can change the time to like 1.25 and you can watch videos a little faster. And if you don't watch them, if you listen to videos instead and just listen to the audio, that's a really great way to do it too. I tend to talk fast, so I don't know if you want to speed me up, but it's just a trick that I use when I'm trying to squeeze in time to listen. And as some of you are mothers also trying to juggle a lot, maybe that will help you. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like my content, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, check out the description for discounts and affiliate links along with my social media, and best wishes.